It was like the set of Gossip Girl basically. So like there was a lot of rumors flying around, people backstabbing each other, even though it was from a boys' school. So that was quite surprising lah.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Hashtag Good Talk. Hashtag Good Talk is a youth conversation initiative by MYMCA to encourage youth to talk about topics that are relevant and necessary. My name is Lester and I'll be your host for today. And of course, today we have someone special. She's our special guest, a clinical psychologist, and you may not be able to tell who it is, by how young she looks.
My name is Chantel and I'm a clinical psychologist.
My name is Cordelia. I'm studying sociology in UB at SIM.
I'm Jordan. I'm a psychology studies student from DIAN.
I'm joined by my friends here today to discuss on this very important topic, bullying. Bullying has been running rampant in our society, especially in schools, for many, many years. It's an issue that has never truly been resolved. And we see recent news on this topic. I just want to ask you guys, have you guys had any encounters with bullying, either as a bully or the bullied?
I've been bullied a lot when I was younger. Some of them are not even aware that they are bullying me. What I noticed a pattern is that usually for guys, the way they bully each other is through like physical, but for girls it's more of like emotionally manipulation, make you feel like you're always alone kind of thing. So I've been feeling that sort of like bullying for many years.
Okay, so for my side, I was from a boys' school in secondary school, but interestingly enough, there are physical fights, but you don't really hear about it.
I do recall there was a time when I was in primary school, I did not want to go to school at all. I told my parents that I have a headache, I have a stomach ache, and they brought me to all sorts of tests. My parents told me that they brought me to a psychologist, and they said that it's probably psychological. I told them that I was kind of bullied by someone, but I have no memory of it at all now. It's interesting that how our brain cope with this kind of distressing incidents, then it helps you move on. I'm just quite amazed by that as well.
It was a very similar experience for me, where I think it was either in kindergarten or primary school. I also refused to go to school, right? And every time I have to go to school, I just start crying. For some reason, right, I was very fearful of school in itself. I have no idea why. Probably repressed memories at this point in time already. And I think Cordelia brought up a very, very good point. It's like, sometimes it's like, it's like having fun, right? And it's like, sometimes we don't even know that they are bullying. So having fun or, it's just like teasing versus bullying, how exactly do we draw the line then?
Teasing is when there's like this mutual kind of thing going on. Like you both are really friends and you all kind of respect each other and you all really banter with each other like as a joke. But bullying is when it's obviously one-sided. The one person seems like more of the vulnerable one and the other is just like constantly attacking the person and the person can't do anything about it. But every time whenever someone like call out them like, yeah, I'm just joking lah, but it's really not that way. Yeah.
From a psychological point of view, how we define what bullying is when there is a power imbalance. Likely bullying is a long-term problem, is unlikely to be just once or twice, but very likely to be repetitive.
The people who are getting bullied, they're unable to stand up for themselves, or rather they're in a position where they can't defend themselves. And I guess that's where it becomes bullying.
Want to hear from you guys. What are some of the effects on the bully or the victim?
For me, as a victim myself, that one I understand the most. Like, because it's very traumatic. Like, people think that bullying is very trivial. Trauma actually affects someone's brain, the way they react to situations. It kind of inhibits me from doing many things, like, as I grow older. It's pretty sad. For lasting effect on the bully, I believe that they probably might be so obsessed or like used to the feeling of being in power that as they grow up, they start to having this kind of like ego, like problems and things like that.
And when they think these effects are short-term, they'll keep doing it, but they don't really have awareness on what the effect this bullying has on the victim. And the effects on the victim might be more long-term than they think.
If there's a physical bullying, then of course there's a physical injury, also the emotional distress, and if it's done in a long time, and the person is very distressed with all the re-experiencing of symptoms like intrusive memories, flashbacks, nightmares of the bully, or they have avoidance of the triggers, they have self-blame, low mood, low self-esteem, these kind of reactions, it could be a PTSD diagnosis. So it could have a very detrimental consequence to the people who are being bullied. Not just the people who are being bullied need intervention, but also people who are the bully. When we are talking about bully, we always just talk about people who bully and people who are bullied, but we seldom talk about bystander. In fact, people who are bystander, it can also affect their psychological well-being. Sometimes they might also blame themselves because of guilt, not being able to help. Yeah, so it takes a system to really intervene.
On a systemic level, right? Although we are not in the direct position to make that change, but what do you think is that good first step, that our society can take to address this issue of bullying?
As human beings, right, I feel like we should understand that all of us are different. We need to respect that. Some of us are just more reliant, some of us are just more independent. There's all kinds of people around the world. We have to respect that, and we can't expect people to behave and think the same as we do.
I guess even when we're dealing with bullying, someone is bullied, they come to us for help, we should also treat this whole situation with respect rather than just brushing it off or telling the people who are bullied to ignore their bullies. By treating them with respect, I guess we can more effectively provide intervention and help them.
I think in order to really enhance this concept of respect, it has to start young. I think it really needs to start from family, from parents, how they model kindness and respect. But at the same time, it's always to work on prevention than treatment, right? So I think teachers will have a very important role here, or the school will have an important role in how to ensure that even though there are some noticeable differences, students can still be friends to each other. I think we raised some very important points on how we can, respect and how we can respect each other, how we can model this, and how we can educate this kind of concept to children since they're young.
I think it's because I think the world we live in nowadays is very, very transactional in that sense. And I think from young, there may be influencers that say, okay, I only give certain respect to certain people, which reinforces the importance of early childhood educators, of parents, right, and the role they play. Like what you guys mentioned, the basis, the foundation of respecting people as individuals and not because of what they can do for you. Thank you guys for sharing. I think we have learned a lot today, from your personal experiences and your different insights. Let's really model good behavior, respect one another, and also more importantly, not be afraid to speak out on these issues, right? So that is all for this episode. So till next time.
Bye.